I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed, a game series where you do quite a bit of termination of life. And today I wanted to talk about a mechanic that Assassin's Creed used to have that I think was just brilliant and very well done, that they really messed up by getting rid of, and that is recruiting assassins. Now someone's gonna say, Jay, now hold up, you tell us you enjoy the RPG games still, and they actually have some similar mechanics to this, like in Valhalla, how you can recruit raiding party members. Now I am gonna address this, but it's not the same mechanic, and I will tell you why. But first, before we hop into this, if you enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going forward full speed in 2023, sickness or not. We're going to be covering a wide variety of stuff: Assassin's Creed, Fallout, Batman, DC Comics slash the DCAU slash everything going around with that, perhaps another Miller watch even, James Bond, and more. So I hope that you will be joining us on the ride, because I appreciate you very much. Also, I will be revamping channel memberships a bit over on Degenerate Plays. I've been looking at the pay structure. I want to give you guys who are interested in that more bang for your buck. So I'm thinking about kind of like toning down the tiers in terms of the cost and looking at that. So I will get back to you with that on that channel in the near future. Speaking of that channel, I am playing through Assassin's Creed Brotherhood over there right now. That's actually what made me think of this video. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out in the description down below. Assassin's Creed used to be very focused on the idea of the Brotherhood, and I think in some ways it still is. You know, it's a lot more side stuff now in terms of Isu-based storylines on descendants of Isu or reincarnations or other things, and how that ties into the formation of the Assassins. And Assassin's Creed Mirage is looking to bring back the classic Assassin's Creed feel, which I know I and many others are very excited for. But speaking of Assassin's Creed, when playing through Brotherhood, the mechanic that stood out to me the most is the ability to actually recruit assassins to your cause, train them, level them up, and send them on missions, along with summoning them, basically bringing them into missions that you're playing. This is something I thought was really well done, and it's essentially kind of scratching an itch, almost like the collect-a-thon type itch that gamers have in a lot of games. The idea of Pokemon even, where you capture a monster, then you build it up, and then you use it to beat other ones. Somehow, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Revelations as well, and to some extent 3, were able to actually scratch this itch a bit in a franchise that you wouldn't expect it in. Because Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 are basically about you being part of a brotherhood, part of something bigger than yourself, and growing. But Brotherhood itself and Revelations are very much about being one of the top dogs in that brotherhood and all of the things that come with it. So Ezio starts going out of his way to actually recruit people to his cause and then use them throughout the game to accomplish his goals. One of my favorite things about this is just the ability to press L1 or LB or whatever button it is on mouse and keyboard. I don't know how people play Assassin's Creed on mouse and keyboard, but there are people who do, and bring these assassins in to silently take down enemies or get in fights with them and aid you in battle. It was a really, really cool thing, and it all starts with the citizen in distress. This was actually a revamp of a mechanic from all the way back in Assassin's Creed 1, and in fact it's been a mechanic in games pretty much forever. NPC is in distress, they need your help, you go help them, usually you're the errand boy, and then they go about their day. Except in Brotherhood, the idea was that their day doesn't just end and you never see them again. Instead, you're able to recruit them to join you and then grow with that character. Now, in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I will say that there is some depth to this, but it was very obvious this was the first time this mechanic was being tried in the series. It pretty much just consists of sending your assassins on missions after you recruit them to your cause, leveling them up by giving them better armor or better weapons, which essentially just is through skill points that you earn by sending them on missions or summoning them into combat. And then of course at the end they get to partake in an assassin ceremony where they actually show up in game. Ezio and Machiavelli pretty much fully knight them, induct them into the Brotherhood. They do a leap of faith and then they move on. And you still have the ability to summon them or send them on any mission you want, but at that point you can't level them up anymore. Now I will say that with this mechanic, one thing that disappointed me at that point is that they're pretty much just stuck with a version of the default Brotherhood robes, whereas before that you could change their colors and things like that. So I do think there was some oversight on this mechanic in terms of once you actually level them up. but it was a really cool start to an idea that tied in fully to the idea of the brotherhood of assassins, of being a part of something bigger, not just being some lone wolf dude in a hood who talks about being part of a brotherhood and never really participates in it in terms of with other people. This actually moved past that and gave you the ability to command your own forces and feel like you're a part of that brotherhood. And once we moved into Assassin's Creed Revelations, the mechanic only improved. One thing I really like about that game is that they introduced the idea of Assassin's Dens. Again, a mechanic a little bit revamped from Assassin's Creed 1, where you go to these safe houses, except now, as the mentor, you are pretty much in control of these safe houses. So now you find citizens in distress, you save them, you help them level up by going on similar missions or summoning them in to fight, and then of course as well you can now actually make them the head of an assassin den. You basically make them the protector of the assassins that are in that district of Istanbul or, Constantinople. And I always thought that this was really, really interesting. It was a really cool way to actually expand this mechanic, along with, of course, the rest of the mechanics around Revelations, like hook blades and other stuff that separated the assassins in that area of the world from the assassins in Rome and other places. This was something really interesting to see them actually expand on this, and then they even made it more interactive than that, where you can actually go on these really special missions with the heads of your assassins' dens, where you go on these story-based missions with them after putting them in charge of that den. They accompany you, and the two of you basically team up to defeat Templars together and then progress an overall story. Like the first one of these, which was really fun, was essentially about an assassin who turned traitor and started killing assassins. So you and one of your apprentices go and try and take care of that. So there's a lot of different depths to this that I thought was interesting they added into Revelations. And then when you get to 3, of course, it's a little frustrating because they tried more depth, but I honestly think in terms of recruitment, it fell a little flat, because there's a few different ways to recruit. You recruit people for your homestead, which is where I think the recruitment idea really was in this game. And then of course you can also recruit apprentices, but the game is very focused on the idea that these apprentices have to be specific NPCs this time. They pretty much have to be these certain characters that are already in the game, which I think actually took away a little bit from the uniqueness of the characters that you saved. So for example, I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler for my Let's Play, but in my Let's Play, Nate and I pretty much essentially all built just a woman's guild of assassins. Now you might think that we are just the wokest people ever, that we're just ahead of our times, and while I will take the praise, pretty much we just picked any assassins we thought were cute. But pretty much you can do it however you want, choosing to aid or not aid citizens as you see fit, and then build up that brotherhood. I thought this was really neat, but then in 3, they kind of go against that by making it be certain people. And then of course, after that, this mechanic is pretty much just dropped. Now I understand that there are going to be some people who say the mechanic wasn't dropped, it was just changed. I agree with you in some ways, however, it was not the same ever again. It got kind of molded into different mechanics throughout the series, where instead of recruiting assassins, you're now recruiting things like gang members for your gang in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I don't think had the same depth really at all as this mechanic, or the idea of sending out caravans through things like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, or recruiting raiding party members, which is a little hard for me to say, in Valhalla. They're all kind of fun mechanics, but I don't think they have the same oomph as the idea of, hey, you're in charge of your assassins, you're in charge of this group, build them up, build the brotherhood as you see fit, and be a part of something bigger. A lot of these mechanics were just sort of lost, and they didn't really know fully what they wanted to be. It seemed like Assassin's Creed kind of got obsessed with the idea of reinventing certain mechanics like this instead of repeating them, which is odd to me because there's a bunch of other mechanics throughout the series that are just very repetitive, that are staples of the series, and I think this could have become one as well. It's really a missed opportunity to me to see this go, and to see this not really stay with the game series, because it really gave you a sense of agency and control over the Brotherhood that made you feel like you were the head of it, and like I said before, you're part of something bigger. Though I didn't get footage of this specifically because I'm just so good they never died. No, I'm just kidding. I've had them die before, but it didn't happen on footage. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, when some of these recruits can die, because they can die in battle, you'll even get a tiny little cutscene where you essentially can bend down and close their eyes and put them to rest as well. So there is a bit of an emotional connection there too, that you can build these people up and then still lose them on the front lines of battle. So it makes it so you want to be careful how you use your assassins. I was using them very heavily in the final battle against Cesare, actually, well, one of the final battles, and I almost lost some of my assassins because of that. But it also is really, really fun to be able to move through the world and see a guy and say, you know what, I'm not even going to touch him, but my people are, and have them jump in from the side and take him out silently, or essentially get in a full-blown sword fight with someone. It was just so fun to see, and it's something that I think the series is really lacking now. I know that itch in some ways is scratched by the raiding party ideas, but there were so many ways to bring back just the direct assassin recruitment throughout the years, especially in something like the end stages of Assassin's Creed Origins, where they actually are, pretty much pushing the idea of Bayek building this brotherhood up, except they don't actually get into this same exact mechanic. I just think it's a bit of a missed opportunity in the franchise. Talking about this makes me want to make a top 5 about this series as well, kind of talk about some other franchise lost features that I think have been removed that would really benefit the games to be brought back. So I'm interested to know in the comments down below if you have other ideas for things that should come back, if you have a justification for that, why you like that feature, or why you think that it really fit and helped Assassin's Creed as a franchise be a good game franchise. I'm very interested to hear that, because as much as I love this feature, I don't actually hear very many people talk about it anymore. It's kind of just been relegated to the past of the franchise, really only making a mainstay appearance in 3 games, with, in my opinion, one of them being a bit of a frustratingly toned down version of it in Assassin's Creed 3. I know there are, again, other features like this, but I want to see this one come back because I really think it does a lot to add to the series. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate you very much. I hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.